Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on reggae2reggae.com. Radio like you've never seen it, TV like you've never heard it. You know, this is a program to empower deported migrants, and we're always on the, what I would say, on the lookout for our deported migrants who are out there that may be struggling. We do have a guest coming in the second hour tonight. His name is Rohan Wilson, former jewelry store owner, and he's going to be telling us some of the what I would call projects he's going to be getting into and what he's got arising in the future as well. So stay tuned for that. That's coming on in our second hour, along with the Liaison Lounge with Octavia Duhaney. Remember, this is a program to empower deported migrants, so we do need your help with donations. And if you would like to help us, please, because we would consider it greatly. Hope for Tomorrow, if you would like. And please send out your packages to us. It would be addressed as Hope for Tomorrow, care of Wendy Lovejoy, 6555 Sugarloaf Parkway, Suite 307, Duluth, Georgia, 30097. Again, that's Hope for Tomorrow, care of Wendy Lovejoy, 6555 Sugarloaf Parkway, Suite 307, Duluth, Georgia, 30097. If you have any questions for the program, you could please dial 1-305-454-6484. Again, that's 1-305-454-6484. And you know that we are definitely sponsored by the wonderful Minister Lovejoy, who's been able to give us this forum through hard work and determination. So we have to, be prodigious about it and also know how and what we're saying, because we want to reel in our deported migrants and really change their lives with this program, and that we've been given this opportunity. We should not take it lightly, because where else are you going to find a program that, as a deported migrant, you have the opportunity to voice your feelings or frustrations or your success stories, or wherever you're taking yourself to the next level, or if you just need some advice, we're here. And if you have any questions for Minister Lovejoy, her site, www.moneyanswersallnow.com. You can Facebook her at Wendy Lovejoy Coaching, and you can also watch her on YouTube. Her YouTube TV is Wendy Lovejoy TV. And if you have any questions for Minister Lovejoy, her phone number is 1404-573-0027. Again, that's 1404-573-0027. Locally, 1-876-864-9643. Again, 1-876-864-9643. Before we went to a commercial break, we was talking about inspirational messages that I would like to give out, because we like to do this every show, just a bit of inspiration. And I was telling our listeners about the great Jimmy Valvano, whose speech at the ESPYs was very, very heartfelt, very emotional, very moving, because he spoke about life and how to treat it. And I think for deported migrants, that message resonates very loudly with us, because it's almost as if you've lost something or you've lost someone, and you're trying to find out how to get back that what you've lost, so to speak. And it's a part of life. And I think the ups and downs in life only makes us better when we start to strive ahead, because now we don't take anything for granted, and we appreciate every step more. We appreciate everything a little bit better. We appreciate so much the freedom of what we've been offered. We appreciate that life is not handed to you, and that it can be delinquent at times, and that things don't go as planned. But the beauty of it is you're still alive, and you appreciate small things now. And it doesn't really matter that you're not getting, so to speak, over that horizon of those great, bigger, and better advantages of things that you may want. But you appreciate now, for instance, you don't have to eat steak. You be satisfied with sawfish or whatever you can find to put on your plate. And I think a lot of us have come to the point now where, if you understand what I'm saying, that it's okay not to feel like you have to be a part of things anymore. You are a part of something. You're a part of making a change for yourself and others. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Don't be afraid to look at your circumstance and say, hey, you know, this is going to take great effort from me to reach to the next level. Don't be afraid to stand up, look the situation right in the face and go right at it. Because see, when you don't and you allow yourself room for error, it usually happens. Don't be afraid of seeing yourself in that position and saying, hey, this is not me. I'm going to get out of it. And the beauty of being deported is this is a chance as a fresh start. It's not, there's nothing to pin on you here. Think about it. What are they going to do to you? You haven't committed any crime. You're not guilty here. Nobody can toss you from here. This is your home. Every privilege that everybody else has, so do you. Stop looking at it as if, oh, we're out of opportunities. No, there's a world of opportunity out there before you. And the beauty about each and every one of us, all of us have a unique skill set that somebody else doesn't have. You know, I remember Minister Lovejoy showed me that before. I didn't really look at things like that before that. Don't you know each and every individual here on earth has a unique trait about them that somebody else doesn't have? And think about this as a deported migrant. Why don't you look at yourself in that uniqueness, that distinct light, that you are different. Your traits, your skills are different from everybody else. Not only that, you were raised and grew up or maybe developed in a first world country, and you're coming to this island with certain skill sets that others may not have. You're coming to the table with something. You're not sitting down empty-handed. Don't feel that it's the end of the road. It's not. It's the beginning. And you're going to make strides according to how you see yourself taking those steps. Not what anybody else is going to determine, but you're going to determine your success. Again, I always revel back to the fact that I used to just look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm the solution. Sounds simple? Think about that. You look into the mirror and say, I'm the solution. It sounds really simple, but it's a great motivation you're giving yourself. Because what happens is you're going to start believing that you don't have to look elsewhere all the time for help, or you have to particularly turn to somebody else. You wind up being self-reliant, you wind up being self-motivated, and you wind up understanding that you're not afraid to commit yourself to whatever it takes to reach to that next level. Hard work, determination, whatever you have to do, being diligent to get there. Because that's all it is. It's not that there's some, God's going to rain manna from heaven for you. No, he does it in a different way now. There's other things in place. There is something for you to do. There is a place that you need to be. There is an appointed time that is set for you to get there and reach it. All you got to do is keep striving. But the minute you start thinking negative, man, you're breaking your stride. Me and Minister Lovejoy spoke about something one time, and every time I'm on air, I think about that. And she said to me, Ricardo, you defeat the purpose if you're telling yourself something negative. And I used to think about that so much sometimes. Next time I talk to her, I got to tell her, that sticks with me even till today. Why would you tell yourself something? Sometimes I don't think we realize that we kind of deter ourselves from going forward. Don't ever put down yourself. Number one, let me begin by saying this. Don't ever put down yourself. Don't think that, I'm stupid, or, I can't do this or that, or, man, I'm such a loser for this happening. No. Don't kill your stride like that. To me, they always say you want to hurt a man in the worst way, cut a hole in his pockets. I tell you, the worst way you can hurt yourself is by you believing that you can't do anything or that you can't accomplish something. The worst thing you could ever do to yourself, you as an individual, not somebody else doing something to you, but the worst thing you could ever do to you yourself as a person is tell yourself that you can't accomplish something. Or that, you failed so bad that this can't happen for you. So I would like to tell you that it is more than a possibility. And it's a very distinct chance that you will become above and greater and beyond that which you ask of them. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on Reggae to Reggae. We'll be right back.
I came from the bottom, but now I'm on top. And all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, 'cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Pull on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Live on being the king, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion.
Keep it tuned to reggae2reggae.com, and we'll have more for you. Keep it locked.
Saw a bird flew down this morning, as if he's saying something to me. Sitting on the limb of a tree, giving me a sound of sweet melody.
This is the Uprising Roast Band, and I represent the reggae2reggae.com. Boom, shakalaka, boom, boom, boom. Sing, check out, I'm out. Trenchtown, you keep on rocking. Bang, ba-ding, be-dum, bang, bang, ba-ding. Trenchtown, you keep on rocking. Yeah, yeah, the Uprising Roast. Reggae to reggae, reggae to reggae, taking over the world. Yeah. My name is Ruel.
Hey, and I'm Joya.
And this is the man Jaden.
And we are British Dependency out of Anguilla.
And you're listening to Reggae to Reggae TV and radio.
Yes!
It's 4th quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd just sound. And I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. The stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in that lay down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, 'cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Pull on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Live on being the king, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Pull on. From the bottom, but now I'm on top, and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, 'cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Pull on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Live on being the king, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion.
We are back. Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on reggae2reggae.com. Radio like you've never seen it, TV like you've never heard it. This is our second hour of the program, and we are in the Liaison Lounge with my wonderful guest, Octavia Duhaney. We'll also be bringing in our guest in about 15 minutes or so, Mr. Rohan Wilson. Before I get to that, we'd like to advertise about the online real estate boot camp. Learn how to buy and hold real estate. That's June 4th. That's, again, online real estate boot camp. Learn how to buy and hold real estate. That's June 4th, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and that's at Raymond Tukes. And again, that's online real estate boot camp. What's that?
That sounds like Minister Wendy Lovejoy
Yes.
on your own house.
Yes.
Right? .com?
Yeah. That's a part of that.
Yeah, that's her.
That's her
On
thing.
your own.
Okay, this is a program developed by Mr. Lovejoy, and it's online real estate boot camp. Learn how to buy and hold real estate, and that's coming June 4th, which is this Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be very glad if you tune in for that. Again, online real estate boot camp. Learn how to buy and hold real estate. That's coming June 4th, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we are with the very lovely Octavia Duhaney, my home team, the co-host with the most in the house to be. So what we got planned for tonight?
Seems like we're always playing. Sound like Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, take over the world day today, right? I know, that's true. So we're going to be we're going to have our guests come on in a little bit, and Mr. Rohan Wilson, I'm sure you're familiar with him as well.
Yeah, I met Rohan like 5 years ago. Matter of fact, we came in about the same time.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? So what kind of stats you got for us tonight? Anything specific on any stats?
I was listening to you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, what brought to light is the story about the garden.
Mm-hmm.
There's this garden, and in the garden there's a lot of feces.
Yeah.
Say that then, okay? But there's flowers as well, you know. So it's a garden. So it has like pool and it has flowers, you know, because there's animals, birds, and what have you in the garden. And then we have flowers and beautiful trees and beautiful birds. So say we both went through this garden. Now in the garden, like I said, we have all of, you know, the above.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the garden and I'm looking at the flowers and the beautiful birds, parakeets and what have you. And you're going through the garden looking at all the
crap. Basically. Right?
So when I come out the garden, I'm like, oh, that was a beautiful garden. Oh, the flowers and, you know,
the birds and the trees and yeah.
And then you're like, man, that place was like.
Yeah, stinks in there and all this crap I was stepping over and stepped in and right.
So that came back to what you were saying about, you know, looking at the bright side.
Yes, definitely.
And like I was reading in the newspapers, Jamaica's getting their first bowling alley.
How about that?
And so I was so excited because I used to love go bowling.
Yeah, bowling is perfect.
Right. And then I said, wow, they don't even know what's up. Like, you know, they really don't know all of the intricacies of bowling.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were saying, you know, to be up on things, there you go. You are up on that already because, you know, they have bowling leagues. I mean, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, and so you already know they have the pool, the bowling pool that you play, you know, the leagues and so forth. It's just so much to be happening, you know. To me, I look at it, Jamaica's a developing country,
right.
And what more better for you to have come out of a first world country to come into a developing country? Because
right.
it seems like that first world country is getting old.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
So to speak, right?
Yeah, so to me, I'll be honored to be somewhere new, you know, start new things, doing new stuff, you know, being innovative. And, you know,
Yeah, it's a brand. I always say that it's a brand new slice of life. I mean, it's not just like, okay, you got deported and now, you know, that's it, I'm going to be like this hermit or something. No. There's a world of opportunity out there waiting for you. And the beauty of it is just up to the individual to basically face his or her circumstance and decide, well, I want to make the best of it by doing this. And I think that, as you said, it's up to you whether you want to look at the birds and the trees or smell the feces walking by the seeds. You understand? And I think that the beauty of it is that me and you are like-minded in the sense of our demeanor when it comes to facing circumstance. Neither one of us are one of those people that's going to take it lying down. We're willing to stand up and go through it if that's what it takes. Because I always said the beauty of life is you have to live it to see what it's going to become. And if you decide that you're just going to give up on life because this thing happened to you, you're stopping yourself. What if there's a world of riches out there for you? What if there's a wife and a family waiting for you? You know, you don't know what you may have, because life in America is going to be different than life down here, obviously. But it doesn't mean you can't excel and have as much fun or enjoy life or have that quality of life.
Well, to how I see life is like an obstacle course or a maze.
Yeah.
You know, like you're trying to get out of something, whether here or there. You know, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. You know,
Exactly.
and so wherever you're at, you know, it's basically on the same. It's the same. You know,
Yeah.
it's just the geographical difference of how people live. You know, like today there's this new species of creature they found in India.
Yeah.
And it's human-like. It's very
Oh my
close to
God.
human.
Not that.
The female got like 6 breasts.
Wow.
And I mean,
It was like a
you
puppy
see
or a dog.
Wow.
express. Unbelievable.
No, but seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is brought to our awareness. Now, what else is going to be brought to our awareness? I mean, we're the new creatures, you know, we're
That's
the,
true.
like new form.
That's
here,
true.
You know,
That's
it's
true.
so much unexplored territories
Yes.
and life forms.
And terrain, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so I say, hey, I mean, come on. We're here by purpose. Put it like
Yes.
that.
It is. That's very true. Not by accident. We were meant to be here, and this opportunity presents itself, and you make the most of it. And
I thought about, you know, when that story I heard about
Yeah.
Christ when he was on the ship, and because I was locked
Yeah.
up when that story presented itself to me, and I was like, man, how could he just lay there, you know, and the waves are crashing.
the same thing I was telling our listeners, about the story.
You did?
I just was talking about that on
That
the
same
air.
story?
Confirmation. That's a beautiful
Oh,
thing.
my
That's
goodness.
that's the beauty of it, listeners. You see the same story I spoke about. She wasn't even paying attention. She just comes in the studio and brings it right back up. I was just telling our listeners on the first hour that
Stop.
remember that God was in the boat when he was walking. Actually, the part where he walked across the water. They were in the boat worried that we're going to crash. What are we going to do, Lord, Lord? And I said that's a lot of how our situations is
Yo,
now.
I didn't hear that.
And cease be still. No, but that's confirmation.
Yeah, for real.
That's confirmation to let me
That's
know
how it
that
works.
we're going through it. Actually, you can say this is our storm. We're in the boat, the seas are raging, and we're going through that part where the Lord is carrying
I'm
us.
asleep.
You know, yeah.
I'm asleep.
And you're wondering, you're waiting to hear that cease be still. And that's where we're at right
I'm
now.
just waiting for the boat to just be like,
And dock, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
seriously.
finish your point, yeah.
But that's what I always, because my thing is, how should I say, is mechanism.
Yeah.
Building up mechanisms. Within myself, like even with injury, it's like because our body is energy of everything in the universe. Because I always say to myself, I said, okay, if God, you created the stars, you created the moon, the sun, the heavens, the clouds, and you created me. So I'm a part of the universe. You created me. You created me from the
dust.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? And like when the breeze blows, the dust is everywhere. So I'm a part of everything. So I says, okay, I'm going to learn how to, because, even reading how telekinesis, when people who build and they move, serious thing. When I observe like a black child or a child, more so black children, they do not really speak. And when they speak so direct. Their words are so powerful.
Yes.
When you hear and it's not a color thing. I'm just trying to put
No,
this
you
to say,
talking.
just to say, even with, I heard that part where you saying about words, and stuff like that. So I was looking at that and I said, okay, at one time we did not speak because, God said, my people are peculiar people. So I looked into that. I said, well, what would make somebody peculiar? And I said, well, they said we used to use all our brains and do telekinesis, right? So I said, well, that is very peculiar. And the fact that we did not talk, I don't think the slave driver beat us so that we could tell them our names. That was their least concern of what our names was. You know what I'm saying? I think they were wanting to hear us speak. Because we did not speak. We basically, you could look at me and say, break. You know what I'm saying? And, I can look at you and basically tell when that time is coming for a break or something. So, I mean, that's how we work. We work on spirit, that one accord, and, like I was reading, and I was reading something more about spirituality, because that's what you got to feed. I had a nephew. My daughter was reminding me something, and then she brought to my attention about my nephew. My nephew killed himself, by the way, and he jumped off of like a Sheraton building, the top. And I said to myself, I said, wow, could you imagine all of the darkness that this boy fed his inner being?
Unbelievable.
You know, like, you know, our brains do that. And the entities out there knows how to make you focus on. They'll just observe you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And actually see what it is, how they could torment you. And if you allow it, that's what they will play on. So if you self-pitying, stop it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know, God not gonna give you more than you can bear. Just straighten up yourself, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like type of, you know. And it's so much because I was even saying, you know, when I first came to Jamaica.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on reggae2reggae.com. We'll be right back in about 2 minutes. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Thank you for our listening.
It's fourth quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd just sound. And I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. This stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in that lay down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. And you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Never be in the game for a quarter straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. From the bottom, but now I'm on top, and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. And you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Never be in the game for a quarter straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion.
It's fourth quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd.
Reggae to reggae, reggae to reggae, taking over the world. This is the Uprising Roast Band, and I represent the reggae2reggae.com. Boom shakalaka boom boom boom. Sing, check out. I'm out.
So keep it tuned to reggae2reggae.com and we'll have more for you. Keep it locked.
Yeah, this is Andy Livingston, the Living Roots, and right now you're tuned to Reggae2Reggae TV. Alright, now you don't know. Reggae2Reggae.
Saw a bird flew down this morning, as if he's saying something to me. Sitting on the limb of a tree, giving me a sound of sweet melody.
Just sound, and I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. This stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in that lay down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. And you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Never be in the game for a quarter straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Alone.
second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd just sound. And I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. The stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in LA, down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Come on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Look for me in the game, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Hello. From the bottom, I'm on top, and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Come on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Look for me in the game, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion.
It's 4th quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd just sound. And I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. The stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in LA, down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Come on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Look for me in the game, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Hello. From the bottom, I'm on top, and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Come on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Look for me in the game, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion.
It's 4th quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd just sound. And I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. The stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in LA, down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Come on, and you don't wanna look for me in the game, I'm a champion.
second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd just sound. And I ain't talking home court when the stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in LA, down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Come on, and you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. Look for me in the game, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Hello. take shots and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion.
It's fourth quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation, the way the crowd just sound. And I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. The stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Atlanta. I'm gassed up in LA, down to Atlanta.
Topping all the haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not 'cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Come on.
Some of the things, being growing up there and coming back here and seeing how things were, and because I had a little experience of it, plus always having it in my mind that I would come here one day and own a property here.
How about that?
Me and my children could come here knowing their culture.
Yes.
This is where your father is from,
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I came here, my father was here, I have family here, but
Yes.
it's not home.
It's true.
That's
but
true.
Speak on it.
But they made it a lot. They made it easy for me because my family had a little footing where we're not, we're a well-to-do family, so it wasn't as hard on me.
Right. The transition wasn't as
my
difficult
first
as
instinct
many
wasn't to leave.
Right.
My first instinct was to make it here.
Right.
I want to make it in Jamaica.
Your homeland.
I want to feel what it feels like to make it in Jamaica.
Take a step for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's just think about it.
Yeah.
You came back after being deported.
Yeah.
You were fortunate enough you had a little family surrounding you, a little cushion to kind of brace your fall.
Yes.
And your thought process wasn't, I want to go back. You said, I want to make it here in my homeland.
I was just happy to be free.
I applaud you for that.
I wanted to be free.
Yeah.
And Jamaica's always been a positive place in my life growing up. So coming here, getting off the plane and kissing the asphalt at Michael Manley's International. Yes, I got on my knees and kissed the asphalt.
You were glad to be out of prison.
I was glad to be out of prison and glad to be home in Jamaica.
How do you want to share how long you were in there?
I was gone for 7 years. 7 years where I learned a lot. I can say I have no regrets. The only thing I can say, I wish that that people learn to be more compassionate with how we think about our future and how important it is to understand that the decisions that we make in life has a lot to do with a lot of people around us, not just ourselves.
Yes.
And me being here, saying that I want to make it here and all of that, maybe it was probably the wrong thing for me to think, because that was trying to be here without my children or my being in a relationship.
Yes.
Having that family surrounding. It was just make money and have stability here.
Right.
Instead of, build a life here, bring your kid home, bring your woman home and start a life here. Right. That didn't happen. And sometimes I feel like, being a bachelor now and not being in a relationship with anybody, maybe I should have got that together, because that would have been a lot more important, because it would have made me made a lot more better decisions. And that's the thing about Jamaica. Jamaica is a place where, because it's so hard to get things done, because of how the culture is, it's a place where you can't make mistakes.
Okay.
When you make mistakes, it's hard.
It's amplified more.
It's hard to go back and reinvent yourself, because it's when you fall hard.
Yeah, I totally get it.
And right now, based off what I've seen and what I've been through here, I'm still optimistic. I truthfully and honestly embrace the future of Jamaica, being that we have some great things coming here, the strategic hub, so being in business, I find that if you're in something that's not working, switch, try something new. And being that I was exposed to a lot of things in the United States by how I was being surrounded by a business, and corporate structure surrounding, to be able to understand how things really work in the corporate world. I see now that this is a place that I can implement those things.
How about that?
And not just sitting in a store all day and collecting money from hand to hand, where it's hard because your employees are stealing 16, 15% of the time. So that's a chunk of the profit, and you know, that's where we're at this moment. You know, being ready to join this country and to making it a better place where you can drive without the potholes everywhere. Because you know, people here in Jamaica, they may live uptown or downtown or wherever, but to me, all of it is the same.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on Reggae to Reggae.com.
Never being a king, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Hello. From the bottom, now I'm on top, and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not, 'cause I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Pull on, and you don't wanna ride. Ain't no way that I'm stopping. Never being a king, 4 quarters straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion.
This is the Uprising Roast Band, and I represent for Reggae to Reggae.com. Boom, shakalaka, boom, boom, boom. Sing, check out, I'm out. Trench down, you keep on rocking. Reggae to reggae, reggae to reggae, taking over the world.
So keep it tuned to reggae2reggae.com, and we'll have more for you. Keep it locked.
Saw a bird flew down this morning, as if he's saying something to me. Sitting on the limb of a tree, giving me a sound of sweet melody.
It's 4th quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the intent.
And we are back. Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on reggae.com. Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on reggae2reggae.com. Radio like you've never seen it, TV like you've never heard it. This is Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on Reggae to Reggae. Again, I'm back with my guest, Mr. Wilson, Rohan Wilson, former jewelry store owner. Now he's getting into projects of building apartments, and he also has his niche with the corporate environment as well. A very terrific gentleman, and that I've met before he came on air. We do have a relationship. He's a good friend of mine as well, and I was fortunate enough that I've gotten to know him over these last couple of years. And I find him to be a tremendous success story in Jamaica for deported migrants to use as basically as an example or sample A or an example A of how you can do it as well. And the fact that he wanted to have his success here. He wasn't looking to go to America to try to regain success. He believed that he could do it here. This was his home. He believed he would have success, and his message to all deported migrants is you can have success here at home. So I'd like to ask you, how were you able to achieve that success, Mr. Wilson?
Well, you know, Rick, the first thing I did, I did what people would say, consolidated everything. Cut my losses, okay? And was able to have a little footing by cutting my losses and having some resources.
Right.
And Jamaica is a place where you learn, just when they use that word microeconomics,
yes,
you better get
down to the last penny. You better believe it.
So yeah, get started. You need to do your numbers. You need to know where your money is going.
Yes.
Because Jamaica is a place
tell our listeners.
You'll walk outside with $100,000 in your pocket, and by the time you reach in, 50 is gone. And you can't explain where the 50 is gone.
Yeah.
Probably account for about 25, but you don't know that other 25 for sure is gone. And when I was going through this, I went back to what I knew.
Yes.
You know, when you're in a society where it's like a crab in a bag mentality setting.
Yes.
it's hard to climb the ladder because there's always someone pulling you down. And I don't mean literally pulling you down. I mean hindering your progress through not understanding how important it is to have partnership.
Right.
And knowing this, I saw where people had their ways. And instead of trying to change something, I just left it alone and just tried to do what I knew was the right thing. And probably through me doing what was right, others would follow.
Yes.
I was with a group here that I was working with, a deported migrant group here. Very good guys. They're still around. And I expect to do things with them in the future. I had a position on their board. And I went back to the table and started restructuring my life in Jamaica.
Yes.
Restructuring my income in a way where I can live,
right?
You know, and spend the money correctly, and started to find out how it was to go into business without going through the corruption, without all the red tape.
So basically, you micromanaged your situation.
Yes.
And use the connects that you were around to kind of get a foothold into what you were doing.
Yes, and I did a lot of research and development.
Yes.
And a lot of that was based on trying to implement some of the American way of business models into the framework of what was going on here.
Perfect, yes.
You hear a lot of people here tell you that, oh, this is Jamaica, you can't do it. Well, it's not true. In actuality, Jamaica has a lot of things that are real positive that even makes it even easier to do things than even in America. Our greatest problem here is not knowledge, but lack of how to implement knowledge.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of people here do not know how to implement knowledge. We have very educated people here, from the young to the old, but practical knowledge is always worth more than textual knowledge.
Of course.
You know, because that experience and that ability to touch something really makes one learn. It's like an RN nurse in a hospital. She's there with the patient and they're dying and she's saving them. The doctor comes in and takes notes and leaves. So in actuality, she knows more than the doctor. There's something that she knows that's more than a doctor, and it's the same thing here. I'm in a society where I have to grow, and I know I have to grow, and I will not accept doing it the old way. So how do I find a way to do it without implementing the whole way into my scheme?
Right.
Because if I implement the whole way, in the long run, I have to pay the piper.
That's true.
And I don't want that.
Right.
So I look for all their loopholes. And that's a corporate thing.
Right.
The corporations work efficiently by finding loopholes to expand their industry or expand their share of market. And I wanted to implement that without anybody, a small man or a big man, telling me I can't do it.
That's right.
Okay, so first thing I learned is to put my resources together. How do you put resources together? One of the things is Jamaicans are not investment savvy when it comes to entrepreneurial things and startups.
Right.
They tend to take their money and give it to banks and somebody else to invest for them, and because they trust the class,
corporations,
a certain class of
they
have a classist problem. So they tend to trust people that wear the suit and the tie.
Right. They trust institutions more than they
I could never come to them and tell them nothing unless I do it, and then they say, how did you do that? I'll be like, oh, then they respect you after that. And that's one of the problems here. So I've learned that our community, the deported migrant community, is a very powerful community here.
That's true.
And our resources are very extensive to the norm in Jamaica. When I could be here collecting a couple $1,000s every year, or sometimes for the month, or you get a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, depending on how the mood is of people abroad, how they want to deal with you and treat you. you basically don't need to work here. You can use that money and do something that you want to do to build yourself. But I've decided I wanted to do it the corporate way, so I wanted to bring in more of the community of the deported migrants because we all share the same pain.
Yes.
You know, we are discriminated against because not based on facts, but based on assumptions.
Yes.
You know, and propaganda, of course. And if people was to know us, basically, and see how we are, and that's what the women in Jamaica have done. They're seeing that we're a little bit more compassionate, you know, we're a little bit more understanding, you know, and more responsible. You know, it was surprising to me that my neighbors in my neighborhood are telling me they rather rent their places to deported migrants than rent them to even bank tellers here.
Yes, that's
because they're saying that you guys are more responsible. I never have a
because
problem with you
growing
guys
up
paying
in our
rent.
American system, there's no excuses on how to pay bills.
Exactly.
And you can't punk it out. So you're used to knowing that, hey, this is the first, I gotta pay this bill.
Yeah.
I want you to, what do you think you would tell others the kind of commitment it takes to reach
Well,
this
you know, what I say is this. Do you love your children? Well, you want to take care of them and let them grow. You want to make the best decisions for them.
Right.
Jamaica is an unforgiving place. Anything that you're going to do, you need to do your due diligence, or you're going to pay for it. And you can pay for it by being hungry, not having a place to sleep.
Yes.
You know, and if I was to advise somebody and tell them how to do things, bring yourself around positive people.
Yeah.
People with the same likeness,
Beautiful.
the same goals. And it's not just deported migrants.
No, it's
there are a lot of
everybody,
Jamaicans here that want better, that are not pessimists.
Right.
Okay? But you tend not to meet them because even they don't want to be out there. Because they're trying to get away from all of that.
Right.
So we need unity. We need to educate each other, each one teach one. We need to create forums to open up doors and create an atmosphere and facilitate
balance.
facilitate ideas in order to create that balance.
Yes.
You know, and I think we can do it. I think this is a great thing that you're doing, and I think this is a part of that building process by having this radio show where you can use it as an instrument to bring people out of the dark. Because there's a lot of people here that are deported migrants who don't want to come out of that shadow in order to do what you just asked me, and that's putting themselves together and putting what you know to putting your dreams on paper, organizing it, and becoming somebody here. You can make it in Jamaica. There are a lot of people here making it.
So quickly, what are your plans for the future?
Well, my plans for the future is corporate. It's all about it. Getting investors to come in from abroad. My friends now, I'm a promoter of investing in Jamaica, being that we have a great future ahead of us, being that we have the strategic hub coming here, which is not just the China-based initiative to build the Goat Islands, but the shipyards that are going to be built here. We're connected into Dubai, Singapore, Rotterdam in Europe, and it's going to be Jamaica. That's something great and big. And I think a lot of people here, even deported migrants, need to re-educate themselves regardless of how old you are. You need to know how to push buttons. Factories are going to come here. You know, there's going to be a lot happening. You guys need to prepare yourself because there's going to be a lot of indigenous workers coming here worldwide that want to take advantage of this situation. And if you don't educate yourself, in no time you're going to be crying about the jobs that other people are doing. And why? Because you're not skilled in it. You know, this attitude of a man of follow my thing, it's over with. You're dealing in the world. This is not a local thing. This is international. Jamaica is tied into the rest of the world. And they want to even tie it in even more now.
Right.
You need to be responsible because you're gonna see your houses here in these big neighborhoods, even the neighborhoods that you think are not now are gonna become good neighborhoods.
Yes.
You know, so start getting yourself together because Jamaica has a future. Don't because there's been so much downturn and negative outlooks and lies and government manipulation to the masses that things are not going to get better. Things are going to get better, but they can only get better as for individuals if you prepare yourself for the coming of that better.
Well spoken.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
It was nice. Anytime you want me to come
privilege.
here, you know.
Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on reggae2reggae.com. We're gonna
In the way the crowd just sound, and I ain't talking home court when I'm stomping ground. The stomach hurt, oh Lord, my Lancer. I'm gassed up in that lay down to Atlanta.
My top and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not 'cause I'm a champion. Tell 'em I'm a champion. And you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. They put me in the game for a quarter straight shots, and I'm a champion. Tell 'em I'm a champion.
Reggae, reggae to reggae, taking over the world.
Hey everybody, I want to take a second or two to let everybody know about Wendy. One of the best things I love about Wendy, and I never told her, you know, I just been doing my business, running out, trying to make a dollar amount, and I've been doing good, but I've been stuck in that base pay. But she came up and she told me that you can't do it for the money. You got to remember the love. You got to remember the reason. You got to know why.
So keep it tuned to reggae2reggae.com, and we'll have more for you. Keep it locked.
From the bottom, but now I'm on top, and all they haters wanna see a nigga fall, but I'm not 'cause I'm a champion. Tell 'em I'm a champion. And you don't wanna ain't no way that I'm stopping. They put me in the game for
Sure you gave me the
visual. So
Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on reggae2reggae.com. Radio like you've never seen it, TV like you never heard it. I'm back with Octavia Duhaney, my host, co-host with the Comos, and great speaking with Mr. Wilson, Ron Wilson. Very positive character, very high-powered, highly influential, very entertaining as well, and very knowledgeable person who decided that he didn't have to make it in America. He could make it here at home. Really proud of him for that kind of attitude and mindset, because he's one of the few that actually are willing to take hold, as they say, take the bull by the horn, so to speak, go out there and pull him down and try to make a difference. Really appreciate his input tonight, and you know, I think that, as he said, the future is bright. I believe.
Yeah, because I mean, those who are in the situation never see. Like, you know, you have to take yourself out the box.
Yeah.
More than all the time. You know, if you're in love, you're not gonna see like the things, you know, that you're blinded from. You know, you have to take yourself out the box. Look into it. You know, it's the same thing where deporting. Yes, but like I said, that goes right back confirmation again. You know, to say that there's gonna be things happening that we can be innovators, we can be first hands on, you know. There's a lot of deported migrants that do have certification.
Yes.
And don't have no jobs.
Yes.
So jobs will be there and available. This is an opportune time. There's a great amount with multiple certifications. So, you know, I'm glad that jobs will be coming. That's what we need. You know, we need to get jobs.
Yes.
We need to have individuals to trust us, you know, and see, you know, what we're bringing, what we're offering. You know, I would work with deported migrants anytime. For their values. You know, they value time. Time is money. We grow in a society that tells you know, I heard this girl saying, because she had an opportunity to make some extra money, and she was saying something about it was 10 o'clock, and it was time to close. I was like, 10 o'clock? And it was time to close, but it was an entertainment platform, you know, so it was like, it was a bar. The bar is supposed to close at 10, however, they had some tourists spending money, drinking, entertaining, having a good time, and she's worried about closing. So, you know, our outlook on money making, you know, situation, we would rather to make money. You know, I mean, you know, like when I heard that they were coming in with the hour system here, like, you know, clock in or whatever, 8 hours schedule. I said, they need to not.
But good luck with that, because normally, no disrespect, but we as Jamaicans here, not in America, but here, we're not the most timeliest people.
Of course, that's why I said.
We're not.
That's why I said. Deported migrants. I refuse to fall into that.
Yeah.
I hear people often say, "Oh, this is Jamaica. Everybody is on." No, I really refuse. It's very annoying to be, you know, at a meeting and you're waiting 2 hours.
I know.
You know, and then when they get there, it's like everyone wants to talk. Like they had this thing when you eat chicken.
Yeah, you talk
like
now.
everybody has fried chicken butt or something, you know.
Yeah, I know it, sister.
Yeah.
It was funny, yeah. But I think that for us in general as deported migrants, you know, we need to really kind of think long term. That's I think a lot of us stop being short sighted. Stop looking at, okay, I'm stuck. Which is, I think, that's the biggest hurdle you have to get over, is being short-sighted. Once you get past that and you realize, hey, wait a minute, I got a brand new start here. I mean, from, you name it, from credit to everything that you can think of. There's a guy actually that told me, hey, you know what? I actually don't mind being deported because my credit's not bad anymore. You know that, and I told him, you know what? That's a good way to look at it, because
that's so funny.
Because the truth is, he was saying what he couldn't purchase and do in America, he can't here because he doesn't know anybody anything. That's just real stuff. Yeah.
So no, at one time, you know, the credit thing was really bad.
Yeah.
They had to put a law on it that you can actually stop them. You know, like answer your phone, don't answer the phone, and find out what credit, you know, what company it is, who they're calling for. You know, because it may be several. But anyway, you know, and you tell them do not call your house anymore, because they had children, because you know at 18 they were pumping them all up to get this credit.
Right.
They have children was committing suicide. So this was serious. So to know that he thought about that even after deportation, that was real serious.
Yeah, that's serious. That show you that the issues he was facing back at home.
Yeah,
you know?
it was on his brain.
But I want to compliment our listeners and our viewers and other deported migrants, that the ones that stand in the flames, so to speak, and face the fire. All of us do. And for us to just know that, you know, be encouraged that this is just the beginning. That's all I want to say. This is the beginning. And that, you know, it goes on so much longer than they think that it does when we're in trouble, you know. And
but my thing about it, when you speak about the beginning, I always say that one thing I used to love about America, school.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love school. Okay.
Love me some school.
No, I love school. I love school so much that I would not fight when school was going on. But you see, after school,
it was on.
In the
It was on, huh?
But you know, not to speak on that, but school. So at the first of the year in September, I had this nice, fresh, whether it was the binder with the leaves, but it's just fresh and clean. And then I read that big old, I used to say this big old stupid old.
Like the Trapper Keepers,
no,
right?
I used to call it the big old stupid old, right? But
that's funny.
Yeah, but then as I got older, now what was so funny was one time, you know, now currently, there's this little kid, he had this project to do in school. And so I was helping him, and his project was he had to make a clock. So I got a letter size blank sheet of paper, you know, no lines. And then I had got some bowl or something, but it was nice and round. So after I drew the circle, it just brought it all back to me, because I used to seriously take advantage of that fresh notebook, and that first page just had one big O in the corner, you know, and it just brought back to my memory of this big O on a fresh piece of paper, how nice and neat I used to write and stuff, because it was a fresh book, you know. So, I mean, it's just like, it's life. It's a fresh start.
It is.
You know, write that big O.
Yeah, it is. And I think for our listeners out there, having that first start wouldn't have happened over there.
No, it wouldn't have.
And I say this in all seriousness, that it's not a negative being deported. It's not. And I don't want us to. It seems to be like everybody feels, oh, you got deported. I remember one time I was hanging out
what
with.
That's supposed to mean? Oh, you got deported.
Yeah, I was with a friend, and we were in the Sovereign and Ligony area, and we was hanging out with a couple of friends, and somebody overheard us speaking, and we all had accents. And he was like, "You guys, where are you guys from? The States? We're there," and we're explaining. And my friend says, "Hey, you know, a couple of us here are deported." And he's like, "Oh man, that sucks. It must really suck being here, you know?" And he's like, well, I was like thinking to myself, you know what? It's not a negative.
The only one that see Jamaica, I find this, that a lot of persons who see Jamaica to be like someplace they don't want to be is people who's been here.
Yeah, who's born and grown here.
It's like,
for us, this is actually a new start, because it's like nobody knows me here. I'm not going to be threatened by, okay, you don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder, number one. Nobody knows you. It's the best thing when you are a stranger. It's the greatest feelings is being a stranger.
But you know, let me interrupt that.
Yeah.
When I was in America, I wasn't worried about looking behind them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for some of us that was in the street life, that was doing certain things that had, you know, their hands dirty, certain ways, yeah.
When you make up your mind to do something, you do what?
You're going to do it.
You do it.
And don't look back.
Okay.
And that was my mentality. But I had some friends who told me that for themselves, that, hey, listen, I don't have anything to worry about anymore. I'm in another country. Nobody knows me here. I can be anybody I want to be. If I decide to go to the top tomorrow, I can do it. And that's the mentality you have to have. I don't think it resonates with people when they think, okay, you're deported. It's like there's supposed to be some limit. I can't go this far anymore. Or, okay, I can't climb the ladder. I gotta stop here. There's no ceiling. And I think that people forget that. You don't have a ceiling to bump your head on. You can go as far as you want.
The only person limit themselves is that individual.
It's you, yeah, it's you.
It's you. Because even the other day I was looking at it, I said, wow, you know, orchids, they grow, wow. And they're like $70 one orchid.
$70 for an orchid, wow.
You know, so if you were to just create, there's so many.
Yeah, you can create, because think about this. Could you have a stall in America in the middle of the city? Just think about that, in the middle of, in Times Square, and you would have a food stall, not a chance in HELL, right? But down here, think about it. Go to Halfway Tree, go to New Kingston. I mean, those opportunities are rare. You got to look at that. And you could have a business outside your home, like right there, literally on the sidewalk, and your home is right there behind you.
That's like
that
Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Brooklyn, you live upstairs and your business is downstairs.
Right.
You know, for those.
But you have a shop, so to speak. Basically, you have that little mom and pop or bodega or whatever you have, and you live above it. But it's in a building, actually pushing a cart on the street.
Right, but
you
it's just the innovation. I mean,
yeah,
you know, a lot of times, because we are developing and considered third world and what have you, you know, we are Jamaica. So we have geographical differences, while other geographical areas, they will live indoor. Jamaica live outdoor.
Yes, yes, we do. And I think a lot of people don't really see it in that light until they really come here and really experience our culture. Because the uniqueness about our culture is, people think our culture is like closed for some reason, or we're some dark-minded people that don't really have this, you know, like, our culture is so beautiful and so open that I don't think it gets the credit as far as being that Western Hemisphere Africanism, so to speak, as it is, that it's very unique, very unique.
The thing about our culture that I think needs a lot of work on is love.
That's the biggest thing missing.
We are loving creatures. We are, you know. However, we do not know how to express love. We don't know the difference of love. We don't know, you know, like I think like there's kind of like a distorted love.
Yes.
You know, people took the word love and they made it distorted. Like, you know, you could love your mom, you could love your dad, you could love your cat, you could love your bird, you could love your children. It's different.
There's different levels of love.
You know, and so as even, you know, what I like about culture is I usually look at morals, I look at difference, I look at what it is original, you know, and I look at the fact of language, and I look at how they embrace one another. What I do love about Jamaica is that I see that family is important.
Yes, it is.
You know, and I see that
yes, it is.
you know, for me, like on holidays, I have no family here. So I'm like, I hate holidays.
Yeah, I feel that. No, I feel it. Thanksgiving is worse for me. Christmas is not, I've never been a big Christmas person.
Well,
that doesn't joke, but the Thanksgiving is hard for me.
To the holidays, it's just the time, you know, and
because that's when you're with family the most.
So there's you're like separated from love always here, you know. And then when I look into the culture, I look at the females, because that's one thing I always love being is a female, is a woman. Even though I said, Lord, when I come back, I want to be a man. Why? Because I want to be an example to other men to say, you know, what love is. You understand?
Show love.
I want to stand that ground of what God created a man, you know, to do. And I want to be an example to show a man how to have control of the little head or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But we
got 1 minute left on the show. Real quick,
my whole thing about it is, you know, it's the lack of love, the lack of that. It really hinders a lot of our progress. You know?
That's true. Crucial point.
Yeah. Why bad mind me? You don't even know if I ate. You don't even, just because I bathed. Like a bum came to me one time. He said, he was begging me. I said, look, the only difference between you and me is I bathe.
Yeah. Because clothes don't matter.
No, it's just a fact. I'm broke, you broke, but I bathe.
Yeah, that's true. Plain and simple.
I probably should have asked him for some money because he out there getting me.
That's true.
You know, so I'm out here trying to get it too.
That's true.
But I bathe.
Octavia Duhaney, Ricardo Stevenson, Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on Reggae to Reggae. Wonderful show we had tonight. We were able to be in the presence of my great friend Rohan Wilson, who came in. And he's a
big motivator.
Very, 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 very big motivator. On behalf of Octavia, anything you want to say before we close?
We love you. See you real soon.
Continue to strive, look in the mirror and say, I am the solution. And God is with you in your ship during the storm, and He will soon tell you, cease, be still. Thank you for tuning in. Again, next week, 7 to 9, Hope for Tomorrow Radio here on Reggae to Reggae. Radio like you've never seen it, TV like you've never heard it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again next week.
And please send in your donations. Thank you.
Thank you.
In advance.
Shots and I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion. Tell them I'm a champion.
It's fourth quarter, 1 second, all you hear is swish. My motivation is to keep all the haters pissed. It's the anticipation.